Helps if I unmute. Morning again, everybody. Thank you once more to Eamon and Sam for that session this morning. We're now going to go into a series of presentations led by our fantastic volunteer technical department leads, and they will give you an idea of what they've been doing over the last few months. Some of them are literally weeks and months old, as we've been going through a very detailed recruitment process over the last 6 months. So we're going to hear from each of those, starting off today, and I'm very thrilled to introduce to you all Steve Jennings, who needs no introduction, and Steve is the operations manager of our new sport performance department. So hopefully you're there, Steve.
I'm here. Can you hear me, Ian?
Yeah, we can. So you should be able to share your screen, and if you could let us all know in 10 brief minutes what your thoughts are, and introduce the team, and and it's really exciting times. So over to you.
Brilliant. So I believe, am I shared there yet, Ian?
Yep.
Great. Okay, thanks, Ian. Good morning, everyone. I believe the process for questions is if you enter your questions into the chat box. I think we're pushed for time on a strict schedule. So yeah, any questions you have, if you can put them in the chat box, and then I'll take the time at the end to answer them questions. And yeah, I'll remind you again of that at the end. So kind of thought, apologies if I'm repeating some stuff that's already been said this morning, but I actually think would be valuable to, I suppose, to give our opinion of where we're at as well, and the people on our team. So quick introduction. We're a massively new team. We only got our last few members to our department 3 weeks ago. So yeah, very new. We feel like we've managed to do quite a bit of work in the 3 weeks, which we'll update you on. But yeah, I think it is new. It is exciting. So quick introduction. We've got Donna Thomas is our squad logistics manager. Donna, massively valuable. She's lots of experience in the hospitality sector. She currently books everything for a club, from training to international competition. So she's going to find this position really easy, really organized, really driven, got a great attitude to just getting things done, which fundamentally that's what we have to do. And then I think a big plus from having Donna on our team is that she's got 2 children who've been through our pathway, actually currently still on our pathway, so 2 really talented kids that both represented Great Britain. And we feel, if you look at voids within the department, I think having Donna and somebody who can come at it from a parent's perspective is going to be super valuable to us. Second up, we've got Siva Ramasamy. He's our head coach. Siva's had lots of success nationally with his club. He's had success internationally, coached our cadet team, coached our under-21 team, coached the Commonwealth Championships. I think Siva has got great knowledge of business and strategy, and so he's going to be a great support to me. Siva's really passionate about people development and getting the best out of the team around him. And he also brings an incredible amount of drive and determination to our committee. I think when it comes to big picture thinking and blue sky thinking, I've never really met anybody like Siva. So it's really exciting for me as well to work with Siva. So another strong appointment. In our team logistics position, we've got Dan Flesher. Dan was almost ideal candidate for this position, in my opinion. He's basically been doing a lot of this role for the last 2 years while managing this and coaching. Similar to Siva, he's coached the cadets and under-21 teams already. Again, just in the 3 weeks, been a massive support to me. The fact that he was previously involved is a big help. Dan knows exactly the process, how everybody applied to be on squads and how teams were selected. And, you know, it would have taken me a long time to gather all of that information. But yeah, Dan knows it inside out. So he's been a big help to me in the short term. Dan's an ambitious coach. He's really passionate about developing himself in any way possible. And he's also really open-minded. So I think that willingness to learn and that open-mindedness almost allows him to come up with some fantastic ideas for our team. Bottom left there, we've got Neil Parsley. Neil's got an incredible CV. I honestly feel like we're really lucky to have Neil part of our team. He's worked at the top level with Premier League footballers, England football team, England rugby team. I worked with Neil for a few years at GB Taekwondo, but he's also worked, I think 4 or 5 different Olympic sports at the top level. Neil's also like a businessman and a strategist, which is vital for what we're trying to do. He's owned his own gym for the last 10 years, but it's almost not just a gym, it's a gym with a difference. Neil's always thinking, how can we be different? How can we stand out? How can we be ahead of the curve? So yeah, I think that type of thinking is what we need. He's positive and energetic, and it's so infectious when you're around him. If any of you guys get a chance to spend any time with him, you can't help but like walk away excited. So that's really good for us. And I think another positive is that like he's impartial. He's currently got no links to Taekwondo. I think that's a big plus, but he's got a lot of links to a lot of sports. So if we ever want to share knowledge across sports or run our ideas by other sports, there's a very good chance Neil would know somebody in different arenas. So yeah, I think strong team. That's myself in the middle there. Steve Jennings, I'm operations manager. Like Ian said, I use that picture because I haven't got grey hair on that one. I've just noticed. But yeah, a bit about me. 32 years of Taekwondo experience as an athlete, as a club instructor, and then as the GB national coach for the last 13 years. I've been really fortunate to work with some of our most successful athletes over the last 10 years, 13 years, and then also very fortunate to work in a high-performing team. So I understand what it takes for everybody to function and to push and to challenge and to work together to get where we need to go. I would like to say I'm still super passionate about coaching. I don't think I'll ever stop coaching, but this new role just gives me an opportunity to showcase some different skills that I think I have. So it's a time for me to give back. Taekwondo has given me my life. You know, I met my wife in Taekwondo. I've traveled the world with Taekwondo, and yeah, I'm lucky enough to have a job that gives me a salary to do Taekwondo, you know. So yeah, really passionate at this stage of my life to try and give something back, and this role gives me the opportunity to do that. So what we've done up to now, obviously we've got pandemic, you know, pause. I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to reflect and reset. I think in every crisis there's opportunity, and you know, it may take us a couple of months, but I feel like we've got a couple of months. You know, it might take us a couple of months to get this absolutely right, to thrash all our ideas around and come up with our long-term strategy. But, you know, luckily at this time, we've got that. So, you know, we're not going to rush if we think this is the perfect chance. Unfortunately, we've had to put some of our programs on hold. So that's Next Gen, the cadets, the under-21 programs, they're all on hold. I feel really sorry, you know, for them kids. They've trained really hard. They went through a selection process to be part of a squad, and then there's been like no opportunity for them really this year. So I feel really sorry for them kids. But you know, our aspiration is that we have some type of opportunity for all age groups. You know, so as soon as we're allowed to, and as soon as our strategy is in place, then we'll look to launch. You know, but right now, like I said, we're not allowed. Our strategy is not finalized yet. It's 3 weeks. We're 3 weeks in. But, you know, hopefully over the next couple of months, we can get that in place. We've completed the full analysis of the current programs that we've got available. Like I said, Daniel, big help with this. You know, he involved in a lot of it already. We believe that there's some voids. So, again, some opportunities. There's some age groups that get a lot of help and other age groups that don't get so much help, and like I said, aspirationally, we want to fill them voids. We've had initial discussions about that strategy, you know, our mission, our vision, our values, short term, right through to long term, you know, so what are we doing in the next few months and where do we want to be in 5 or 10 years time? I think anything that we put out has to be linked to this. It has to be linked to the bigger picture. You know, we're really conscious not to just throw something out for the sake of it or because we feel under pressure. Anything we put on, we want it to be linked to our big picture thinking and to our strategy. And then one of the other things that we've done recently, just in the last week, we've had some initial discussions with the PUMSE Performance Department. That's a mouthful. I'm lucky I'm not on that committee, but yeah, the PUMSE Performance Department. I feel very fortunate. I've been on courses with UK Sport where cycling coaches can learn from Taekwondo coaches and athletics coaches can learn from sailing coaches, you know, and this is Taekwondo and Taekwondo. So, you know, fundamentally, we're trying to create opportunities for a lot of people, and then we're trying to put amazing performances down when it comes to major championships. So we think there's a lot of chemistry between both. We can learn from each other and we can work together. So yeah, that's happened in the last week or so, and I think that's a really exciting opportunity. Future aspirations, we're going to operate really openly, really honestly, and we're going to deliver consistently. We want to build trust with the membership, with our teams. We'll respect you. I think fundamentally the club instructors, the club coaches are the guys that are doing the work on a week-to-week and a day-to-day basis. So we want to respect the work that you do, and then we want to deliver what we promise. I just realized saying that I sound like Boris Johnson, but we will, I promise. So yeah, we want to have clarity around and transparency around the opportunities. So wherever possible, you know, we'd like to be able to answer your questions accurately. So if you have a question like how can I be part of X squad, we'd like to be able to say if you can do Y or Z. Yeah, so I think wherever possible, we want to try and get away from grey a little bit and subjectivity. It may not be possible in all cases, but that is one of our ambitions. I spoke a little bit already about our strategy. It's for me, this is bigger than what our department wants or what I want. This is a massive piece of work, and so it will take a little bit of time. We're going to need to consult with the BT board and make sure, I suppose, our vision is in line with their vision. We can consult with GB Taekwondo. It would be great if there could be some collaboration across there. Hopefully I can help to fill that a little bit. And I think most importantly, we'll consult with you, the memberships. So we haven't decided 100% whether we'll do it in a Zoom call format or whether we send out a survey. But we think the last thing that we need to do is just launch something that is not what our members want. So yeah, over the next few weeks or maybe month or so, we'll try to decide, are we going to do Zoom or are we going to do a survey or something like that. But I would just ask you to engage and give your feedback, and we'll try to make sure wherever possible our strategy is in line with what the membership need. Next, so we want a world-class system that works for athletes and coaches and then from all age groups, from children right through to senior, veteran, if you want. We want that whatever age group you're in, if you're interested in sport Taekwondo and you want to better yourself, that there is some type of opportunity for you. And equally, if you're an aspirational coach, it's very difficult to find opportunities to develop yourself. So we want to try and fill that void if we can as well. And I think that's an even bigger piece of work. But if we can try and fill that void, whether it's with coach education or mentorship or something along them lines, that's another void we'd like to fill. I want to build on the amazing work of the previous team, and I want to just take the chance to thank the previous coaches. So Kathy Hawke, Ben Shaw, Sarah, my wife, I don't know, some of you call her Jennings, some of you call her Sarah Stevenson, and Daniel, and obviously Daniel, like I said, is still part of our committee, you know, and a valuable part of our committee. So I'd like to thank them, and kind of link to that in a second. I'm just going to show a video of some of the work that they done. But what I want is that we are a powerhouse at major competitions. So I think up to now, just chatting to you guys, I've been, you know, fair and nice and honest and inclusive, but I have got like a massively competitive side as well, and I believe in dreaming big, you know. So it's not going to happen overnight, but I do believe we'll become consistent medalists at major championships, and that's fundamentally one of the main aims. You know, at the further down the pathway, it's about opportunity, but at the top level, we want to be winning medals. You know, we want to be putting down impressive performances. So I've just got a little video. I saw this video last week, so I'll just show you guys this video. It's only, I think it's just on 2 minutes long. Okay, guys. So I want to say thanks to Sarah Jane, who was, you know, in the photo at the end, then for giving me permission to use that video. I saw that for the first time last week, and I don't know. I think I've met 2 of them kids before. I don't know them kids, you know, but I saw it for the first time, and it just brings out like emotion and passion and fire in me, you know. And I think fundamentally, whether them kids, some of them got medals at the end, you know, 3 medals, fantastic. Some did, some didn't. But I think whether they did or they didn't, that's like a life-changing opportunity for these kids, for our members, and fundamentally that's what we're all about. Hopefully, you know, you enjoyed watching that video. It's just, I watched it, and the first time I saw it, I thought, wow, you've got to share this, because this is what we're trying to do, but maybe even on a bigger scale. Yeah, I just want to finish by saying, yeah, please reach out to us. Like, we think we've got a really strong team in place. We think we've got a fantastic opportunity in front of us to make some positive change. Like, collaborate, come on board. I think I'd like to say all of us are very excited about where we're at. Very approachable, very open. Yeah, so please, you know, reach out to us. My email address is there. I think most of these have got at least one of our phone numbers, you know, so reach out. Really keen to make a difference. And yeah, just to reiterate at what I said at the start, if you've got any questions, please write them in the chat box, and I'll make sure I answer them before I go. But yeah, Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully that inspires you a little bit, and hopefully the excitement of our department, shone through. Thank you for listening. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you very much, Steve. If you could stop sharing your screen, please, that would be really helpful.
Done.
I'm sure everybody agrees that the passion's coming through there, which gets me really, really excited for the future. So appreciate your time and the commitment that you're making to our programs. We will now swiftly move on and introduce Tom Stammer, who is the chair of the Sport Referees Department, which dovetails nicely with some of the activity that Steve is doing. So over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Ian. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Steve, for that presentation. That was excellent. I'd just like to say that I'm not going to use a video because, as you all know, you never see a good referee. They're just in the background if they're good. So I'm going to give you a very short presentation about what we've been trying to achieve over the last sort of 3 months since we were appointed. Just before I do, with that little statement at the bottom there, at the centre of our sport, the people I'm dealing with, they need to perform under pressure with expertise and professionalism. Not easy, not an easy task for people. Personally, I'd like to say we've got a lot of existing experience in our team, so I'm very gifted for that. There's a lot of good quality people around, and I'd like to thank the past team for all the work that they've done up to date that allows us to move forward with some good processes and procedures already in place. So if just going to introduce the team, I'm Tom Stammer. How do I move forward? There we go. I'm Tom Stammer. I'm the chair. I think most of you know me by now. I've been around for 45 years. If you don't, where have you been? I've got 30 years of those as an IR, so I do have a bit of background in this particular aspect of Taekwondo. I'd like to introduce, firstly, Rick Simpson, who I hope is online somewhere. He was appointed, like myself, in August this year as operations manager. Rick is, again, well known to most of you. He has absolutely superb organisational skills and operational skills and absolutely laps it up, which is great. Rick is also an international referee of some merit as well, so he's quite well known, which is a great advantage to us. In September, we were joined by Jodie Sinden. Jodie, again, an IR of some repute, and she's one of three candidates we have in line for Tokyo Olympic selection. So, like with all the referees for Olympic selection, we have our fingers crossed for Jodie and Paul and Claire. That yet a decision's yet to be made. We're not a full committee. Very sad really, because we've got two great roles there. One for sort of organising and coordinating education sessions, training courses and the like, and one as what we've called now a technical support manager to the rest of us. Now, we keep mentioning these don't have to be IR positions just because the other three of us are. It doesn't matter. There is no rank, there is no status in this committee. It's about doing a job for the benefit of our membership and our existing referees. So please come forward if you think you've got something to offer. Drop Ian a note and he'll talk to you, and we'll see if we can get you on board with this committee. We have got a lot to do and we're working very hard, but 5 is better than 3, let me tell you that. So I'm going to start by just going through in this presentation a little bit of couple of key points from the where we're at, and then a little summary of what we've been up to, so you don't think we've just been, lying around between now and since we were appointed, and then what we're going to do up to March, when hopefully this COVID thing will be kicked into touch. So firstly, we've done a lot of work on our strategy, and we're following very much in the path of what Sam has done for the British Taekwondo strategy, which was excellent today. They have much better graphics than we have, or something we'll have to fix. But anyway, our strategic goals at the moment, I'm not saying these won't change, but what we're about as a referee department is providing some structure, which I think people like structure in the refereeing fraternity. We've got to provide administration, lots of administration there is, and some funding to support our referees, probably most importantly. We have a lot of education to be done. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. So we can develop our referees from complete beginner, club member, club parent even, right through to potentially international referee at Olympic stage, you know, on the Olympic platform, hopefully. That's our key objective, really. Increasing participation at UK and international events. Yeah, we have too many travelling referees at the moment. You know, COVID has demonstrated one thing, is that we don't really want to be racing from Scotland to the south coast of England to referee in an event because they're short. We want pools of referees all over the UK. We want increased participation from our referee family, and we want to support them into international events at various levels, be them B class, G1s, G2s, World Championships, Olympics. We do want to be the referee department of the world, if you like. We want our referees to be invited places. We want a reputation for being the best. We want to be on the committees for Europe and everywhere else in the world, representing our referees. We want to be seen as a real leader in refereeing. I think we've been there in the past, and I think we want to be back right up there. And of course, our existing family of referees, you know, from a coach and an organizer point of view, you want to see competent referees. We need to build that competence level in the existing. It's more than education, it's about competence. And also for them personally, confidence. We find that a lot don't go forward because they're not confident enough to go forward, because, as I said earlier, there is pressure to perform under, you know, performance under pressure, needing that expertise and the confidence to do so. So one of the key points we have to deliver for everyone, as Ian and Sam mentioned, is a pathway, a referee pathway. The graphics on this will, I'm no doubt, change, and this is a draft pathway, but we're trying to define exactly who our people are, what role they want to play, and allow them to develop to where they want to be along the pathway. Not everybody wants to be an international referee. Not everyone wants to go up to technical delegate level, which we'll be introducing shortly. So we go from beginner, and we need some clear criteria for moving forward that includes not only time, but experience, but also some continuous performance development, CPD, along the way. So it's not easy to just say, right, here's a load of stuff, there's a rule book, eat that. We want to train them in the basics and then add to that with individual modules which will enhance their capabilities along the way and build their confidence. So this referee development pathway is a little bit of what did exist and a little bit of what needs to exist. And as I say, that's why it's draft, because we're still sort of defining this. Not only do we need to put it in a picture version like this for everybody, we need to actually write this down so it's very clear in our development policy. So a lot of work gone into this up to now, a lot of thinking particularly, and a lot of sort of good intent as to where we want to get to, but a lot of work still to do in terms of actually writing it down and getting it peer reviewed by our referees so that it's clear and there is no ambiguity as to about how somebody, so ambitious person, can go from that beginner to that WTIR. We need to help them to get there. So, as I said, you're going to need confidence and competence in that as well as we go along, hence the time and the number of events you have to do. So that's where we're going in terms of our referee development pathway. I realise that time-wise we don't have a lot, so I'm not going to read every one of these out, but work to date, you'll be quite surprised to see, you probably think we've been quite quiet. It hasn't been quiet from where I've been sitting, but certainly the highlighted things are actual physical things we've been doing. We've provided referees already during this COVID period to GB Taekwondo, that should be said. They've had several talent days with running as elite sports, so we've been servicing them with, I think, up to now 5 different referees over probably 6 or 7 days worth of events. We have we have issued a referee survey. We've had many responses from the referees, and we issued a separate event host feedback survey. Why did we do that? Well, it's all right for us to think what's right and wrong and what's good and bad, but it's much better if people tell us what's right and wrong and good and bad. So we've had that from the hosts and the referees, and we're going to use that feedback now. It's been summarized into categories, and common points of issuance. So we are now building that into our strategy, the development of that strategy, which is quite well advanced actually, but the detail of it, again, we're following again the lead of Sam really to build that up. So we've registered all our IRs for 2021 with World Taekwondo. We have 14 active referees in this country, and every one of them was at various stages of being up to date or not up to date with WT rules, refreshers, fees, etc. That's all been done now. We've attended the WT online international referee refresher courses over the last 2 months. I think just about all our active referees have done that now. And we've also had 3 representatives, successful representatives, I might say, on the new World Taekwondo Technical Development Level 1 and Level 2 courses. So we now have 3 qualified technical delegates who will influence World Taekwondo events, G1s, G2s, G3s, etc. We have also supported one referee, you might be surprised to know, to 2 events, the World Taekwondo Club Championships Club Championships in Croatia, and we've got a representative going to Bosnia-Herzegovina for the cadets and the Olympic weight categories. So every one of those tasks, as well as the ones in blue, which are sort of things that are ongoing in the background, have taken time. There's only 3 of us who have taken time. They've taken new policies to sort of review and say, can we do this? Should we do this? How do we do this? And we've managed to put all that in place today. So very proud of what Jodie and Rick have done in terms of organising that all, and to the satisfaction of many people, I'm glad to say. And thanks to BT and GBT for providing some funding for that as well as along the way when necessary. Work we've got to do yet. We are about to hold an online webinar and some Class 3 refresher sessions. This is work up until March, hopefully when COVID is gone. We will be announcing the results of our 2020 Referee Recognition Awards. We felt it was important as an engagement process to at least make a start to recognise the people who have taken part in 2020, even if it was only for a sort of 3-4 month period. And we will be awarding, best IR, best Class 1, Class 2, etc. in the next, well, before Christmas anyway. That should hit the news. So again, that's about recognising the people we have got and the work they have put in. We want to complete our policy and procedures reviews. We've got a good way through them now, but every policy and thing we produce and procedure we produce is going to be peer reviewed by some of our excellent IRs, our existing IRs, because they have the experience and the knowledge, and we don't want it to be sort of groupthink from a committee position. So we're already started that. 2 of our processes are already being reviewed by IRs. We've got a lot to do to finish that off. And obviously we want to publish a referee training calendar once we get past March, so we can do some face-to-face and some more online training together with our referees, so they can actually see what's available to them, and they can hopefully get some good attendance, regionalised. I must say this will be regionalised around the UK, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, South Coast, London, Midlands, North East, North West. We will be using our best resources, our best tutors, when we qualify them, to deliver those courses on a regional basis. So when you guys hold a tournament, wherever it might be, South Coast or Glasgow, we'll have a pool of people in that area who can come along, and if nothing else, be the Class 3 corner judges to support that event, cut down on the travelling, cut down on the cost, and hopefully upgrade the quality of the competition you have. So that's really forms the basis of what I wanted to say today. As Ian said, we need to go to questions. And if you want to put anything down on the chat line for me, I will answer it, and or Rick will answer, or Jodie will answer. The best person will answer for you, whether it be a technical question or whether it be a procedural question or organisational question. Feel free to ask us. We want to build up a fantastic team of referees. We want to support our UK events and the event hosts. We want a good quantity. We want good competence, And we want good, confident referees about our team of referees. We want them to feel part of something important and special, and we want to be the best in the world at this. So that's it from me. I probably saved you about a minute, Ian, on the time. Hope that helps. So I'm going to say that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. If you could just stop sharing your screen for a moment.
Whoops.
As Tom mentioned at the beginning, there are still a couple of posts available in this department. So please get involved. You can see the amount of work that's going on. You can see the ambition. You can see the structure. It's very flat. There's no egos. There's no hierarchy as at all. This is all about collaboration and changing the future, making it better. So if you have an inkling to try and work with Karugi referees, give Tom a call, give me a call, and you're more than welcome. So thank you very, very much, Tom, and appreciate your time today.
You're most welcome.
So we'll very quickly move on to our next presentation. If I could just ask Gemma to unmute herself, and I will remove the spotlight from Tom and also withdraw the host permission. So Gemma is the chair of our PUMSE performance department. Again, a whole raft of detailed and thorough recruitment process went through earlier on this year, and they have a full cohort of people which Gemma will now go through and introduce you to and give you a flavour of what they're going to do in the next weeks, months and years. So over to you, Gemma.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Hi, everybody. Thank you to Steve and Tom for your great presentations. Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Where is it? Here it is. On the slideshow. Okay. So yeah. So my name's Gemma. If you don't know me already, I was recruited into the chair position in September. So I'm just going to introduce you to our amazing. This is our super committee. I'm really pleased to be working with such a really experienced team with lots of skills to offer. So we've got myself as the chair, Della O'Hara is our operations manager, Chan Sao is our head coach, Gillian Fitzpatrick is our squad manager, and Chi Lai is our team manager. So they're always there to help all of you if you need it. So please get in touch with any queries or questions. Okay, so we haven't really spent too much time on our strategy as yet. We were waiting for BT to run out their organisational strategy so we can work in line with that one. But we have been talking in general about our roles. So I don't want to read it all out, but basically we want to encourage everybody to get involved. We want the club coaches to feel more confident with teaching competition PUMSE, and we've been collaborating already with other BT departments, as you can see from the little circle diagram. We feel interlinked with the other departments. We've already together with the PUMSE judging department for a selection, and we've had meetings with the sports department so that we can work in line with them together. So when we're talking about raising the level of PUMSE in the UK, we're talking about all the levels from grassroots, the potentials and the elite. So we just want everybody to get involved and get some enjoyment from PUMSE. Okay, going over to my next slide. We, in contrast to the sports department, because obviously they're embarking on a really exciting journey of starting a whole new department. We've already had a pretty much established events happening, so we've already had some activities. For our PUMSE squad, we've had 3 online Zoom national squad training sessions. And we've also, as I mentioned previously, had a selection event online for the World Championships that's actually running at the moment. Today is actually the semi-finals are being streamed. We've had 23 athletes compete, and I think 8 through to the semi-finals, and there's definitely 1 through to the finals. So it was very challenging for our athletes to record. A couple of our top players had to withdraw because of the lockdown, and they were unable to film in a venue. But everyone's really put a lot of effort in. All this, and the coaches were supporting this World Championships. Right, so that's all of activities going on with the squad. With our Para-PMSE activities, we've had 2 Para-PMSE sessions. We've also at the moment got a talent ID happening where we want people to get involved. Anybody who thinks they have a para in their club, any coaches, please get in touch with us. We are really lucky in the fact that the 2 para coaches have attended the World Taekwondo para training. We're in a really fortunate position that we have Master Usman, who is the vice chair for the para committee for para taekwondo, and we've also got Master Saeed, who's on the World Taekwondo Europe committee, have helped us to get all of our para categories that we've been campaigning for as British Taekwondo. All of these new categories are now included for major championships. So this is a huge opportunity for more people to get involved, which we're really happy about. So that's enabled us to create more elite pathways for different classifications. So I'll give you some more information about the categories a little bit later on. Okay, so our main theme is everyone can get involved in PMSE. We've had an open seminar already. When we had 130 people attending from 45 different clubs. So there's definitely the appetite out there for everyone to want to get involved. We've also got a 2-phased approach at the moment for selection for next year's squad. The closing date's today, but please get in contact and email out your any potential members from your squad, red belt and above, that you think could have the potential to join our squad. So we'll hopefully next year be doing a lot more open seminars to make it more accessible to everybody. Okay, just going back to our different squad categories. So as you can see on the left there, the PMSE categories are mixed by age groups. Separated by X age groups. So you're never too old to get involved. Okay, so we've got under 11s going all the way over to plus 66. So there's no excuse for anyone there. And in our para divisions, you can see we've got all these different divisions there, and we also have two BT divisions that sort of encompass the other non-classifiable impairments. So something for everyone out there. Okay, so just moving on now, our future activities that we have planned. So we want to obviously host more seminars and do some. We've also had a request for coach-only seminars, this is going to roll in part of our development of a coaching pathway, which Chansal will be leading the content for that. And we want to give as much knowledge out there as much as possible to help everybody. We want to have everybody feel as confident as they can to progress the para and PMSE students through to their pathways. Freestyle is a different development that we need to spend a little bit more time on, and we know it's an area that we do need to develop. So that's one of our activities planned for 2021. Okay, so this is my last slide. This is some of the contact email addresses. Please get into contact with any questions whatsoever. And I think it's really exciting times ahead for all of the departments. And I'm just going to give you 3 takeaway messages. And it is number 1, that we are here for you. Number 2, anyone can get involved. And number 3 is it's very exciting times ahead for all the departments and for British Taekwondo. So any questions, just stick them into the chat or get in touch, email, and we'll be really happy to help and have you involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gemma. I think the key message that's coming through all of these presentations is lots of opportunity. And my goodness, we need that after the year we've all had. It's exciting times in 2021, and hopefully what you're hearing today gives you, it gives you something to look forward to. So thank you very much, Gemma. Appreciate your time. We'll swiftly move on now to the PUMSE referee department. And I will invite Jerry Riley, the chair of the PUMSE referee department, to come in. So I shall just unhost you, Gemma, and hopefully, Jerry, you are there.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's feeling as inspired as I am by the presentations we've already heard. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant to hear about the strategy and what's happening in the other departments, incredibly inspiring. So what I want to do this morning is just talk about some of the things we've been up to in the PUMSE referee department. So talk about a little bit of what we've been doing over the last few months and look a little bit about where we're going. But before I dive into that, I actually want to start with some thanks, because this has very much been a team effort. So it's been a team of the 4 of us. Like Tom's department, we are missing one, so we're up for great candidates. This is a fabulous chance to really shape what's going on. So the team within the department alongside myself is Glenn Colbert, who's our new referee director, Carolina Barris-Clark, who is running the education as education manager, and also Sean Riley, who's our marketing and comms manager. But I'd also like to give that 2 specific shout outs to people outside of the department as well. And that's Chris Wood, who has done an amazing job at helping us with the video analysis that we've added into the referees courses, and also to Grandmaster Tong Wan Shin, who has done a sterling job over very many years in shaping the PUMSE referee community in the UK and providing leadership, and without whose contribution we wouldn't be where we are today. And it has also helped me enormously in some of the data collection that we've been doing up in startup. So he's been enormously helpful over many years, but also in the startup, and also our great community of referees. So this is a challenge. So what do we want to achieve? We want to make the UK a really great place to be a PUMSE referee. We want to have a clear, transparent pathway, and I'll talk about that in a minute. A pathway that is supported by really good courses and seminars and transparency and fairness in how we develop people through the pathway. We want to have a pool of referees. Tom touched on this a little bit when talking about his department. We want this to be a regional pool so we can support tournaments, competitions, events across the UK without people having to travel up and down the country necessarily. And we want to make sure that hosts hosting events are also supported by a great set of referees. So we want this to be the place where you want to be a PUMSE referee. As already been touched on, this has been a challenging time for everybody, but it's also been a bit of an opportunity. So it's allowed us to establish the new department. We have restructured the progression pathway, and I'll touch on this in the next slide. One of the things we've been concentrating on in 2020 has been actually understanding, what does our community look like? Who have we got? So we've been developing out a management platform so that we could bring all of the data together around our referees, what events they've attended, what experience they have, into a single platform hosted on the British Taekwondo system. So it's all nice and secure and running in one central place. And we've gone through, as the other departments have, in reviewing and revising our documents. We've also really focused in for this first stage, because we felt it was the most important thing to do initially, around engagement. So reaching out to our our referee community, running refresher programs for all levels of referee, from IRs through to our class 3s, and also a webinar. And what's been really fabulous is that amazing level of engagement, including the course we're running tomorrow. We've had 119 registrations across our event. So in a tough time, I just feel that's been amazing across the community. So we have a new pathway. So we wanted to make this a nice, clear pathway that can take it from somebody starting out on the journey as a class 3 referee, and we've changed from the CBA to 321 to be more in line with the other programs. So they'll go through initial class 3 referee program. We will then build on a freestyle qualification into our class 2, then a para qualification, which will then build out into class 1. And for those who have the desire and ability, commitment to move into the international referee qualifications, and a British Taekwondo chief referee qualification. This is a new qualification that we're building out, and we've done a first running of this course to ensure there's consistency in how we approach the chief referee across our events, to provide that consistency of style, that fairness, and ensure that we provide a great referee community out to our host organizing community events. It has been important to us to look at how we manage our referees. One of the things that we've had is the records have existed, but they've been a little bit fragmented, and we've been working over the last 3 months to build together a secure management platform that means that we now have records of about 160 referees across the UK at various classes. We know what events they've attended. We've managed to acquire or reconstruct, in some cases, every competition since the beginning of January 2017, every course since the beginning of January 2017, so that we have a really good view of where our referees are and how they're moving forward. So this is really important, whether it's referees at the beginning of their event or referees moving through to refereeing at major international events. So we're capturing all that progress. So this has been really important. It now gives us a platform that is both secure, but also to allow us to efficiently and effectively manage our referees. It will also give us insight into how our referees are progressing. So one of the things that's quite evident from this is we have a good pool of IRs, we have a good pool of class 1, class 2 referees, but we also have a lot of class 3 referees who have not had the experience to move forward. Now, some of those might not aspire to go beyond class 3, but for some, we now can have that insight to let us move those people forward, provide those opportunities, particularly as we get into being able to get back to physical events, hopefully in the spring or early summer of 2021. One of the other areas we focused on over the last 3 months has been around communications and engagement. Under Sean's leadership, we have an Instagram account out there, we have a Facebook page and group out there, and we have set up Outlook groups so that we can communicate out to our community. We've also been running events, and we started off with a referee webinar to introduce ourselves and start to hear what the community wanted from the department. And we've run referee refresher training for our community, and these have been well supported. We have another event for our class 3 referees running tomorrow, and these have been well supported. Our referees have also still been out there and had the opportunity on the PUMSI side to remain active as well. We've had quite a lot of referees refereeing at the various online events, and we are incredibly proud of the fact that there are the online world championships, which Gemma mentioned in her presentation. We have 2 referees at the online world championships, and we have Grandmaster Shin on the organizing and supervisory board for the championship. So that shows that not only we have the strength in the UK, but we have that excellent relationship out to World Taekwondo. So what are we aiming to do? So for the next 12 months, we've done a lot of work around engagement, and that will definitely continue. We want to deliver a set of progression courses. So we're going to deliver referee refresher training, but also the new freestyle and para qualifications, and also training for referees moving in as new class 3s. We want to do, as Tom mentioned here, we want to actually build out, as we see moving towards physical training, we want to build out regional course tutors so that we can deliver courses across the UK without necessarily having to move somebody from Northern Ireland to teach a course in the south of England. We do still have a gap. We'd love to have an operations manager. I think, as other people have said about their departments, it's great that what you can do with 3, even better what you can do with 4, but 5 would make us even more effective. We're looking at our finances to make this a financially sustainable, so that as we earn money from the courses, that will go into developing our courses and investing in our referees, and also building out our strategy. So we are starting to work on what our strategy should look like. We're in early stages. We focused it on making sure we've got a great community to restart tournaments next year. So we're starting to look at strategy. So this will be around extending the relationships we already have with World Taekwondo and World Taekwondo Europe, building out a regional structure, looking at the courses, getting the feedback. We've done quite a lot of restructuring around courses, putting a lot more work into video analysis, around scoring practice, but we're going to listen to that. It's a bit of an experiment, and clearly it will change as we move forward. So we have courses already available for 2021. We're using Eventbrite as our course booking system so that we've got an easy way. It makes my life easier, particularly as we're a small department, and it means we can manage the emails, manage the registrations. So the courses are available, and hopefully the slides will get distributed afterwards. So we're starting to sign up for these so that we will run these through for all levels of experience, all levels of aspiration. So where do we want to get to? What do we want 2024 to look like? So we have a great base, absolutely fabulous base of PUMSE referees, enthusiastic and engaged, which has been seen from how they've responded to these difficult times. But we want to be able to progress people through. We want to be able to have more people at IR level, more people at class 1. So we will be looking to double the numbers of our class 2, class 1 and IRs. Clearly, we're also interested in people coming in as new class 3s, but actually there's quite a strong base there. So want to make sure those class 3s that we do have are also progressing through. We want to provide more opportunity for the referees to be active. You're a great referee based on experience. You've got to be out there. You've got to be doing it. So we want to provide opportunity for people to be active through the year. We want to aspire to be able to run multiple events at the same time so that we don't have to just move one community around the country. So if we've succeeded, we should be able to run an event in Scotland and the south of England and have a great set of referees at each event and provide a great service to the hosts of each event and not have to rely on a small group. So we want to build out that. And we want to build that out in a way that the majority of referees at an event are within traveling distance to cut down the pressure on the referees, but also that actually cuts down some of the costs on the hosts organizing events as well. And we want to make sure that we keep refreshing our training. So we're providing regular training for our referees, and we keep refreshing that training and making that training new, and particularly developing out aspects out like scoring practice and video analysis. So I mentioned the department at the beginning. Like the other departments, we want to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to any of us to ask questions. The slides will be going out later. Reach out, talk to us. We're trying some things out. Some things will work, some things won't work. So if you've got ideas that will make refereeing better, whether you are a competitor, whether you're an existing referee, whether you're a tournament host, come and share those ideas with us. And we want to hear from you. We want to make this, as I said, a great place to be a PUMSE referee, and for the hosts to have a great opportunity to draw on this community of PUMSE referees and to have the experienced, highly motivated and talented referees refereeing at your events. So to keep update with us, either send us emails, follow us on Instagram, join our Facebook group, and more importantly, get involved with PUMSE refereeing. It's a fun place to be, and I think the future is very rosy for what we're doing with PUMSE, what we're doing with sport, what we're doing across the performance side and the refereeing side. I think the volunteer departments will make this a really inspiring, engaging place to be over the next few years. So with that, I will hand back to Ian.
Thank you very much for that, Jerry. I don't think you breathed in once. That was fantastic. Very concise. And again, as I said when Gemma was speaking, so much opportunity here. And when we get back to in-person events, we want to capitalize on this enthusiasm and the structures that are going to be in place. It's only going to grow. It's got to. There's too many people who want this to succeed for it not to. So thank you very, very much for that, Jerry. So I'll just take you off that as co-host, and I will now just cover off the martial art department. And the reason that is still sitting with me is that department at the moment is, I'm just going to share my screen. Give me 1 second. And technology's letting me down. Screen 2. Share. So hopefully you can see that. So the martial art department has been quite a tricky one, actually. When we were putting together the structure of the sport performance, PUMSE performance, sport referees and PUMSE referees, the areas of activity tended to drop quite nicely into your technical elements around participation and higher level participation and performance. What I mean by that is world level championships and either competing in the combat sport or competing in the PUMSE world, continental, national championships. And then on the other side of that, you had your technical officials, to use an Olympic expression, the ITOs and NTOs, which deliver that technical knowledge, scoring, learning, etc. But with the martial arts, it's not quite that simple. And we looked at several different models over the summer and early part of the year, talked to a number of people out there. You know, some of them are on this call, and it was quite difficult to divide it up into an area where you could take care of a particular function, whether it was a high performance technical area that dealt with just black belt activity, let's say, and then another area that dealt with cup grades and beginners through that, you know, grassroots program. But it became quite apparent that that wasn't going to work. And we've had a number of working groups and a lot of people involved where these things were so interlinked that it was very difficult to separate out Dan and Cup, education and development, and also the examiner's side of it. So what we've decided to do is start small, grow as needed, and focus on the areas that speak to the strategy that those that were on the call this morning with Sam Matthews and Eamon, make sure that we cover off the very, very important baselines, and because it's so vital we get this right to support the clubs which are the lifeblood, the martial arts clubs. Yes, a lot of people do the sport, but the vast majority of our club network is the traditional martial art that do offer elements of the sparring or the pump sit. So again, speaking to the strategy that you saw this morning, it's all about creating opportunity. It's all about creating participation opportunities. And I labour that point because you've got your Karugi competitions, you've got your Pumsi competitions, but in the martial arts sphere, what tended to have happened over, especially the last few years, is it's become very insular. People are just teaching martial arts and enjoying their martial arts in smaller groups within their own regions. And the opportunities to participate in martial arts and learn from others have diminished and diminished and diminished. And we know, I won't go into the reasons for that at this, because we'd be here all day. And a lot of you are very familiar with them. So, number one, we need to get the basics right. Brilliant basics. We also want to come at this from a perspective of not ramming this down people's throats, if you forgive the language, not dictating that this is the way that you must do your Taekwondo martial arts, because we appreciate the nature of the art and the way it is passed on. But our place in this is to provide really, really good examples, baseline examples of what good Dan grade education can look like, what good cup grade education can look like, what a training syllabuses could look like. Again, that's something that is quite an emotive subject, because all the clubs are like, well, we've got our own syllabus. That's fine. That's not the idea of that here. The idea is to develop baselines that people, like Sam was saying this morning, really good examples with supporting resources behind them that people can just take off the shelf and go through our coach education pathway and say, yeah, I'm a red belt or whatever it is. I want to start opening a club. Where do I look? And obviously a lot of that will be learning from the people around you and your instructors and master grades. But we have a part to play in that, which is putting down best case examples, best practice examples of what we do. The other thing is picking up on the point I said earlier about specialisms and participation events. You've got the national Karugi and Pumsi championships. You've got the regional domestic events that are hosted by clubs. We don't have a great deal of participation events where, I'll give you a perfect example. You've got this 15-year-old, 14, 15, 16-year-old third Dan who's superb, absolutely superb. But they're not interested in Karugi. They're not interested particularly in Pumsi. I know, the guys in the departments will go, well, why not? But it's a fact, that everybody has, just like in cycling, some people prefer roads, some people prefer mountain biking, some people prefer going around a track for hours on end. It's whatever flavor ice cream you appeals to you. We have an opportunity here. And my goodness, we have the expertise, again, some of the people on this call, to start doing a specialized program of seminars covering self-defense, step sparring, breaking, and the other areas which I haven't even thought about. Opening it out, sharing best practice, sharing knowledge. And I would hope, a lot of you on this call are nodding and saying, well, yeah, I agree with that. We're becoming too insular and we've got to turn that around. In addition, we want to start looking, like Sam said this morning, looking at off-the-shelf products for Taekwondo kids, Taekwondo fitness, something that I never even knew really existed until COVID hit. and we have a friends and family membership tier that does online training, it's quite popular. And there is a market out there for a fitness-based product. Some of you may very well be teaching that already. Disability, something we talk about a lot, Sport England talk about a lot, and put our hands up, we don't do enough for. Simple. So we need to start developing modules and products and services for that market. And I'm sure there's other examples as well. Finally, examiners. When people take their cup gradings and they are taking their Dan gradings, they are, yes, they're purchasing a service, but especially with Dan gradings, it's a experience of a lifetime, or it should be. I remember what it was like when I passed my first Dan. It's absolute experience of a lifetime. If that's in some tatty little sports hall tagged on the end of somebody's class that you're charging X amount of pounds for, and there's no certificate, no belt, there's no sense of occasion, then it's a race to the bottom, isn't it? There's no quality. There is no value in what we do. So again, we would like to start developing best practice, how to run a Dan grading, syllabuses that help examiners do that. Again, not ramming this down people's throats, because there's really, really good examples out there of what people do, but equally there's really poor examples where we in the central office, the staff will tell you, we get complaints about, because people have took a Dan grading, they've had £100 taken off them, and they've got next to nothing for it. So, as I said at the beginning of this little section, we're starting small. There's a lot to do. We only went out to advert a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And these are the roles that we have come up with the working group. A chair, somebody that understands, like in all of the other departmental areas, big picture, what's the long-term goals, what do we want to achieve, asking those questions around the why are we doing this, what is it that they're here to do, rather than the how. Everybody always jumps to the how, and you end up being busy fools. So we're looking for somebody in the martial arts sphere. Doesn't necessarily have to be if you've got the skills. Operations, we're looking for an operations manager that is the beating heart of the martial arts department, bringing all of the different ideas and programs and courses and budgets together. I know that sounds a lot, but it's spreading the load, spreading the passion. When it's just one person or 2 people doing it, it's tough. But when there's 4 or 5 like-minded people with the right expertise, it can really do such really good things, like you saw in previous presentations. A technical director, somebody that will help us reform all of the programs that we've talked about earlier on. Not necessarily the person that's standing around at the front, barking orders in the traditional Taekwondo sense. Obviously, there's a place for a leadership role, a technical leadership role, but again, we're looking for somebody who's got the thought process and the strategic thinking that maps it out across the entire country and regions, because one person can't do it all. And then the supporting roles for the education program manager and the examiners program manager. So, sorry if that sounded like a bit of a pitch. It was. Just like Jerry was doing and Tom was doing earlier. Please, if you are interested in coming on board and helping to shape the future, you can see how much care and attention we're putting into each of the areas, the disciplines, to use what a lot of other sports do, like gymnastics and cycling, and we've never really embraced that fully, where we're providing products and services for all the different disciplines and taking it as far as we possibly can. And you'll hear actually more about that in a little while. So in short, that concludes the sort of presentations for this morning. Is it still this morning? Yeah, 12:15. We have, let me stop sharing. Yeah, there we go. We have a break now until I believe it's 12:45. And then we will get into updates from the various departments, the staff departments, talking about coach education, websites, quality, the hub, just giving all of you an update on what we've been doing behind the scenes. I can see a lot of the chat stuff coming in. Obviously, I can't answer these while I'm typing. So whilst we're having a quick 30-minute break, I will answer some of these. And I hope you've enjoyed that. I certainly did. There's a lot of passion and excitement there. So thank you very much to Jerry and Gemma and to Tom and to Steve. And please stick with us if you can. I know it's a long day in front of the computer, but please come back at 12:45 and listen to some of the things the staff members are going to tell you, because they've been living and breathing these things for months and have been on their backs about. So thank you for that. We're 1 minute overrun, and we'll see you all at 12:45. Thank you.